Welcome everybody to another episode of Greeting Mashiach. It's been a few weeks off, but we don't take vacations. We just take time to get ourselves healthy again and give ourselves a little room to grow our minds, our hearts, and our bodies.
Like Mashiach, he sits at the gates of Rome and he only takes off one bandage at a time because any second it might be called up for duty to take the Yidden out of Galus. He wants to always be prepared. No, but seriously, we just didn't get around to it. Things came up. Okay.
Shh, don't tell anyone. All right. Anyways, point is that we are back, and I think something very important to note is that even if we don't come out with episodes every single week, every Sunday, but the point is that there's no vacation from talking about Mashiach. Even me, I could probably say that these 2 weeks that we missed, that however long we missed, was probably for me the conversations that I've had about on this topic were of the strongest and most impactful conversations I've had. Definitely since the beginning of this podcast.
Yeah, I'm across the country from you, so I only get snippets from forwards on WhatsApp and whatnot. But I can still testify that you've been pretty involved in some impactful stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So we're back, and we will talk about the as the Rebbe says, we talk about what's happening now. Torah is Milashon Hira, but not Hare B'chaim now. Anyways, so we're in the 9 days. We're in the middle of it. Well, we're coming towards the end because you'll be hearing this on Sunday. What's the 9 days? What's the 9 days B'chlal? What's Tisha B'Av B'frat? And we'll get to whatever we get on.
So, as Chassidim, as Lubavitcher Chassidim, you kind of have mixed feelings when it comes to days like this. The Rebbe told us that we should learn Hilchos Beis Bechira, but he said more important than that is to learn Shulchan Aruch, halachas. And if you go through Shulchan Aruch, it's pretty. I don't know what to tell you. It's pretty depressing. It's morbid. It's serious. Whoever is mourns for the Korban, they'll get to appreciate, relish in its rebuilding, celebrate its rebuilding, and the opposite, etc. But you're supposed to take it all very seriously, and it's all heavy duty vibes. If you learn through Shulchan Aruch, it's important. Go through it. You'll see it's intense, and we obviously don't want to detract from that. It's all Mamatim B'Simcha and all that stuff. On the other hand, you have that Chassidish avir that don't take it telling you in the back of your head.
Take it so seriously.
Don't take it so seriously. We're from Yidden v'chuli, but not because we want to be fry about it. Not because we don't like being mahader b'mitzvahs. We do. That's what we do, Chassidim. But there's a certain aspect of not letting it get to you. That's for Chassidim are known for their joy, for their simcha. So there's a word like Mishnichnas Adar Marb Simcha. And you keep going, you don't stop. Mishnichnas Adar, you decrease a little bit. It depends when you start the year. Or do you start the year from Av and you get sadder and sadder the whole time until Adar you increase a little bit, but really you have to stay the whole time. So that's really the Chassidim, they start counting from Adar. Right, so you have these Chiddush Avarts, you have the story with the Rishner, I probably chazed it before, that they made a trick and they pulled up to whoever was the next guy to come into the Beis Medrash. They had as soon as he walked in, they hoisted him on some sort of platform, and the Rishner, they pulled him up. What he saw was the Rishner, they freaked out, and he said, Eberstein, your children don't know how to celebrate this Yom Tov of Tisha B'Av. Never take it away. So what's really the correct approach here? And I'm not going to pretend to have all the answers, but I can share my feelings at the very least.
Go for it. I think that's why people come to hear.
That's why you're here to hear my feelings. Yeah. Every word I
Let's be
say
honest.
is from the Rebbe. No, if I say it's from the Rebbe, it's from the Rebbe. Otherwise, it's my
Yeah.
it's my feelings. So yeah, I think it's pretty much what I was saying till now in the introduction. That's really, they're both true. You have to take it seriously. It's for real. It's not for fake. And I was learning through Shulchan Aruch, and it says, the Beis Yosef says if you're going to eat meat during the 9 days when you're not supposed to, the snakes are going to bite you. It's like, all right, I won't do it. And Siyumim, who can eat meat during a Siyum? Very complicated halachas. Who is very few people, it's almost impossible that they actually fit the criteria that you're allowed to eat meat because of the Siyum. But yet we know to increase in Simcha, the Rebbe is koching every day till Tisha B'Av. Kochzich, you have to have a Siyum, and it's a big deal. And you go to 770, wherever you are. I'm sure it's a big deal wherever you're listening to this. To make a Siyum, everyone's making Siyumim and making a big Suda because of the Siyum. We don't have fleishiks, but it's a big deal. And I heard an interesting mashal really to explain how you look at how you're supposed to look at this, how you're supposed to process both of these feelings at the same time. If you could imagine somebody's in jail for a finite amount of time, and being in jail, like anyone who's ever been in jail can tell you, it's very bad. Even if it's white collar stuff, it's very bad. You're a number, you're demoralized, you're dehumanized. Even in the best case scenario, better that if it's a difficult prison and it's much more harsh and difficult, that's for sure very bad. But you can imagine if somebody knows that he's getting freed the next day, he knows for a certainty he's 3 feet out the door. He's going to sleep in the same prison cot, and he's going through the same whatever. He has to listen to the guards, and he's just as buttle and dehumanized as he was the whole time. But there's a different spirit inside of him. The spark of life is alive inside of him. His humanity is back. He's happy. He's joyful. He's excited. He knows he's going free. And nothing you can say is going to dampen his spirits. Even as he goes through the same prison rituals that he has to go through. The Rebbe told us, I saw a status today from not a Chabad Chassid. And he brings this passage of that when the time when Mashiach will reveal himself, Mashiach comes, he will stand on the roof of the Beis Hamikdash of the Holy Temple and say, "Humble ones, the time for your redemption has arrived." And if you don't believe him, look at the light that I will shine. And it's a bit of a cryptic passage. He's standing on the roof of the Beis Hamikdash. He's going to say that the time of your redemption has arrived, and people are not going to believe him. And he's going to shine this light. But Baruch Hashem, and this is a mistake, and he was grappling with Pshat. I obviously shared what I'm about to share with you. I don't know if he accepted it or not, but Baruch Hashem, we have a great Rebbe, and he explained it to us. And he told us that obviously it can't be there's already a Beis Hamikdash, because then it's obvious that the Gul is here. You don't have to tell anyone. It's talking about a situation when Mashiach is, the Yidden, the Jewish people, were still in Galus. And while we're still in Galus, and the roof of the Beis Hamikdash, we're learning now Hilchas Beis Bechira, we're learning about the laws of the Beis Hamikdash. Gagas Leinaskachis, the roofs of the Beis Hamikdash were not made holy. So it's less holy than the actual Beis Hamikdash. And that's what it means, says the Rebbe, the roof. It doesn't refer to the actual roof. It refers to, Mashiach, the Nasi, he's going to have a shul. He's going to have his own place during Galus where he is, and that's 770. And from there, that's what it means, the roof of the Beis Hamikdash, from Mashiach's place in Galus, which is less holy than the Beis Hamikdash, the place where the Shechina is during Galus, 770, that's from that place he's going to say, Anav Miguz Mangulascham. And he's going to announce it. That means he's going to say it when it's still in Galus, when people might not realize. They might not see it. And that's what it means. And the Rebbe said this was already fulfilled in Tafshin Aleph, 1991. The Rebbe was kept on saying, quoting this Medrash, the Rebbe says it was already Mikoyim, that Mashiach is saying, Anav Miguz Mangulascham. Imagine that. This famous thing was already Mikoyim. This is a whole different thing. Mashiach already said, he gives Magulaschem. And the Rebbe brought that it's even a psaktin misinai that he gives Magulaschem. That the Rabbanim paskin. And the Rebbe explained what type of gula? A gula of we're going to have Mashiach, that is Bechaskas Mashiach, who's going to do those things. Until he's going to do the Mashiach, that he has to do the Vadai things. He's going to rebuild the Beis Hamikdash. He's going to do Kibbutz Goliath. I'm talking for real. The full thing. This is the psak din, that the time for that to happen has arrived. So we have a different spring in our step. Yeah, it comes around Tisha B'Av again every year. But we know very soon, Yom Meilu, these days, Yahavcha, they'll be transformed to joy and celebration. So it comes Tisha B'Av. You look at the example, the last Tisha B'Av that we have, the Rebbe spoke to us, Leisa Atta, 1991, we fell on Shabbos, and the Rebbe was so happy, overjoyed, that we get to celebrate Simchas, we get to celebrate Tisha B'Av like a Shabbos, no Avelus. This is the Me'ed Las Love. This is a taste of the way it's going to be in the future, that'll be transformed. It wasn't like, oh, Nebuch, we're going to have to play by the rules. Like, no, we're so happy about it. This is the best case scenario. We're looking to find a way to look forward to the Geula perspective. We're not looking back, and this is general, the entire theme, you could say, of Tafshin and Aleph. The Rebbe was trying to show us, look forward towards the coming redemption. We're not looking back anymore of the Avodah of Golus. We're looking forward towards the Geula. So whatever customs and Menhagim and Praving the Churban, yeah, it's for real. We're still in Golus, unfortunately, but it's a facade. We're on the last day in prison. We're coming out. It's got to be with an entirely different perspective. And it might sound like it's subtle, but it makes all the difference in the world. It's an entirely different. Experience. I know we have. If you guys don't know about it, you should follow Greeting Mashiach on the Twitters or X or whatever you want to call it. And today was Thursday. It was posted from the Rebbe spoke this week in Tafshin Aleph Matas Maser. So last week on the Twitters. Yeah, there you go. The Rebbe, we're allowed to still call it Twitter. We have to say Twitter formerly X, formerly Twitter. Yeah. There we go.
So the Rebbe
By
spoke.
the way, they had a big nitzachin over there for free speech today. Anyways, okay. Not for this podcast.
Yeah. Subscribers only.
Yeah. By the way, you could donate on Spotify. On our page, there is an option to donate if you would like to support the great work of this podcast. There is an option over there to donate. Please feel free to avail yourself to that option.
There you
go. But back to you brought the from the Rebbe that he says brings the example of the famous thing, the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed because of sinas chinam, and this is not like esoteric. The Gemara tells over the story what happened. It was literally destroyed, and I mean literally in the sense of like it actually happened, not metaphorically. Just to clarify, it was literally destroyed because of sinas chinam with the mice of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. That everyone knows the story. They got into a fight. He was insulted, and it led to he ratted on the Jews to the government, and it led to the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, quite literally. And we know the Beis Hamikdash will be rebuilt, and obviously that was systematic of, in general, what was going on at the time. I don't know if it's fair to say that one specific event, one person messed it up for Gans Klal Yisrael. I don't know if that's fair either. Or all these stories of like, oh, Mashiach was about to come, but you messed it up because you didn't do this thing or that thing, you know. I think, generally speaking, these things are probably systematic of where the Jewish people were holding at the time.
Right. It shows.
It's indicative on where the Yidden were holding.
Thank you. Yes.
And but here the Rebbe told us we know that the Jewish people as a whole have finished their avodah, and we're ready for the Gula. And the Rebbe told us how does that express itself? We always heard that. How do we fix it? It's Avos Chinam, baseless love, instead of baseless hatred, you have baseless love. That's how we're going to bring the Gula, says the Rebbe. We've completed that. We've fixed that problem. Meaning, if that was the problem, we fixed it. And now, so what's it about now? Aside from obviously, you have that vart that it's about Avos Chinam brings the Gula. You have a much deeper level now. Why? Because we know, Lasad Lava, godliness is going to be revealed. We're going to see our souls will be revealed. We're going to know we're going to see what a Jewish soul really is. And, the Rebbe always sees what a Jewish soul really is. But that's the Rebbe. The famous story, someone allegedly asked the Rebbe, how do you not get tired standing for dollars, giving out hours giving dollars to people, and the Rebbe allegedly is said to have answered famously that when you count diamonds, you don't get tired. That the Rebbe really, I don't know if the story happened, but it's definitely true that the Rebbe looks at every single yid like a diamond, without exaggeration. But imagine each and every one of us got to share in that perspective. That's Mashiach times. Mashiach, who sees that now, he's going to reveal it to all of us. Could you imagine the Avos Yisrael we're going to have then, says the Rebbe? It's going to be amazing. It's going to be much, infinitely more than we have today. Starting already now, says the Rebbe, in Galus, we can start to appreciate. We can look through the veil a little bit and appreciate what's that going to be like and implement that now in our life. That's what Avos Yisrael is about now. We're not looking back to fix the problems of the Churban. We're not living in that reality anymore. Get your head out of the Churban for a second and look towards Bayis Shlishi. You have to turn around. You got to give one turn. You're in the same spot, but you're looking this way, you're looking that way. We're looking towards the Bayis Shlishi. And when you learn about the Beis HaMikdash this year around, says the Rebbe, you do it with an entirely renewed spirit. Every year we learn about the Beis HaMikdash, but now it's with the full knowledge that it's right around the corner. Any second we're going to have the Bayis Shlishi. So when you're learning a Chetzkel about all these different psukim, and we don't really know the pshat. I don't know if anyone went through it. The Rebbe told us that we learned it. It's quite complex. And they have diagrams and pictures, but at the end of the day, we know that that Rambam tells us it's not before. It's not perfectly clear what it is. That's why the Bayis Sheni was not built in accordance with what it says in Yechezkel and the Navi, because they didn't know exactly how to do it. But the Bayis Shlishi will be. You learn it. It's a whole different experience. Very soon, like literally, physically, with your eyes, you're going to see it, and you're going to be so that's the pshat, and this is the Beis HaMikdash. That's where all the lishkas and the rooms and amos. Wow, the Beis HaMikdash, and you start picturing it. They're coming now Shabbos Chazayin, or was already if you're watching this. But when we get a vision of the third Beis HaMikdash, it's a whole different experience. We're excited. We're happy. Yes, it's the 9 days. It's a bit of a more somber spirit, but you can have them both in your heart together. The happy spirit, you're excited, the anticipatory spirit. Try saying that 3 times fast. It's happening. It's real. We're excited about it. And it's not a contradiction. People say, you have to either be depressed about the Churban and koching and watching Holocaust videos. I guilty. I may have posted some Holocaust things today on my status.
Yes, you did.
Some interesting stuff I found, but it's not a contradiction. That's my point. It doesn't have to be a contradiction. But the main stress, the main feeling behind it all, even in the morning when you're saying Eicha and you're reading the Kinnis, and you read the Kinnis, it's very sad. This doesn't take away this from all the history we have. It adds chayas to all the history that we had. There's a whole new chayas in all of it, and that is that we're coming so close, so soon to the Gula Mitzvah Shlema Yedei Mashiach Tzkeinu, the fully complete redemption through our righteous Messiah. So those are my thoughts and feelings at the moment.
Oh, very well thought out. So I wanna shift a little bit. Before the 9 days and before the 3 weeks, we had we were living we had regular days, so to speak, that didn't really have any significance to themselves. They're just, you wake up one morning, you go to work, you do the regular thing, you drink coffee, everything's normal. So now the question is, okay, so what's the significance? Right here we're talking about the 3 weeks and 9 days. I was listening to Rabbi Wolf. He had a Mashiach symposium, finding Mashiach through these tough times, whatever it's called, something like that. And I think Rabbi David Sachs, who is the rabbi, I think, from the Happy Minyan in Los Angeles, very, very, very good person, has good thoughts, very happy person also. But he said something interesting. He said how he started his speech by saying that we're going to answer 2 questions. Number 1, why does Hashem, who is kol kulei tov, which means he's completely good. There's nothing bad about Hashem. Everything he does is good. Why him? are there such things that sometimes comes out bad stuff? Bad stuff comes out October 7th, all these different, very bad people dying. Someone just
We
passed.
don't have to give examples from extreme things in history. I should
Correct.
never stub my toe. Everything should be like what? We don't
Correct.
have to.
Correct.
The average
We don't have to go to the
person.
bad
I'll
extremes.
let you
Correct.
finish. The average person's life. I don't know if you ever thought about this. Sorry for bringing depressing things, depressing thoughts. The average person is going to go through a tremendous amount of excruciating pain and suffering and troubles in their life. I'm talking about a person with a happy life, a good life. If you have a kid, he's probably going to get lost at one point, and you're going to freak out. This is going to happen. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to break the news to you. It's very scary. Probably going to happen at one point or another. Like, people suffer injury. These are normal things that happen to everyone in their life that are like very scary, very hard, and this is considered a person living a very good, happy life. And this is the reality of Galus. The world is very very imperfect.
Right.
People are like,
right.
Where was God during the Holocaust? Where was God in every person's life? Like, why do you have to like? The Holocaust isn't
that.
what's bothering me. Everything is bothering me. And if you could excuse my headaches, you could. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna finish the thought. But the question is really, what's Galus? That's the question.
Correct. The question is, God, who is Kol Kol Taiv, completely good and all good. How can he make my toe stub? Whatever.
Obviously, there's a difference in quality,
Correct.
and while
the point.
I'm being a bit facetious here, but yeah.
No, but it's a good point that you bring up. That like why are we saying
the Rebbe says about the Holocaust, that even the Satan couldn't find enough of Vedas to explain away the Holocaust. That's obviously something
it was special,
unique, that you can't find any within a person's individual life. You have Tanya to explain, the Kapara Savinus, forgive your sins and all the different things. But yeah.
So the second question was why on there's many tzaddikim, many everybody talks about 3 weeks and 9 days as something special. So the question is, if it's so special, meaning there's like an Eisratzin, there's like a special avir there, you can feel it in the air. There's something different, especially this year.
Tisha B'Av.
Especially this year that the with the Iran thing looming over everybody's heads, we're all like, you could feel, especially this year, there's something tangible in the air that you can feel like something special is going on.
We should all be waiting for the Gula with the same certainty that everyone has that today Iran is going to attack.
Correct. Amen. But the point is, so if the 3 weeks and the 9 days, and especially Tisha B'Av, are times of such great times of Geula energy in the world, why is it that those times specifically is it the worst for the Jewish people? Right? The 3 weeks is the 3 weeks, and the 9 days is how it got even worse, and there were Pasha deaths like crazy, and then you have Tisha B'Av. And Tisha B'Av, he brings down that it's not only the destruction of both Bate Mikdashes, but it's also the Spanish Inquisition and the Crusades. There's tons of things that happen specifically on Tisha B'Av. So he went... The Meraglim also correct.
That was the OG, the original.
Yeah. Also, he said how both world wars, World War I and World War II, were connected, and World War I started on Tisha B'Av. The catalyst of World War I with the assassination of Prince, whatever his name is, was on Tisha B'Av.
I know frighteningly little about the First World War, so don't call me out on this.
No, the point is that they're connected. So really, the Holocaust started. The catalyst of the Holocaust was the Tisha B'Av.
It's definitely World War I. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's his point? His point was like this. His point is that when there's so much iris, when there's so much light, when there's so much revelation, not revelation, but potential, but there's not enough kalim, there's not enough vessels, there's not enough containers, reciprocals to be able to receive all of these great lights and potential. What happens is destruction happens. And like we have the Olam HaToyu. What was Olam HaToyu? There was such great light, the vessels aren't able to contain it. So what happened? The lights left because there's nowhere to go. So what happened? The containers they disintegrated because there was nothing giving them life. So he says that it's not a problem. It's not like, oh no, this is a very bad time. No, it's a very good potential. There's huge potential. But the problem is he says this. He says, I don't want to blame anybody, but the fact that we're still here and we didn't fully realize the potential that we have means that we're not giving enough, we're not making enough kelim, we're not making enough vessels, we're not being enough, strong enough, big enough reciprocals to be able to receive the great Eidos. So he said that the point is that to have this great love for each other, that it's just beyond limitations. Just I love you just cause.
Now that okay, I'm gonna refrain from blaming Yidden during the 9 days, but
Love it.
definitely the idea that it's a very powerful time period, and all the negative things that happen are just because there's no Caleb for it. That's definitely a very true idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
and we spoke about
So
this last time, that there's all these energies in the world that don't have a way to be properly expressed. They're really gula energies.
yeah. So the point, the reason why I brought that was because like there are some days where it's like like he was bringing the 3 weeks, the 9 days, and Tisha B'Av as like the the hechtatzeit, the greatest times for this. But the Mashiach can come any day. The potential for Mashiach, the potential for the Geula to happen at any moment.
Pashta mitzvah.
Yeah. So I wanna transport us to a regular day and just talk about regular Mashiach things. And no, we were having a conversation, and a question came up that one of the Rebbe's biggest chizrim, his name is Reb Yoel Khan, whose yard site is going to be
On
happened
Shabbos.
already on Shabbos,
Second
and yeah,
Vav Menachemov.
right. So yeah, so this great chizr of the Rebbe, who had a very very great mind, great memory, and he for personally he was one of the people that really gave me a lot of my Mashiach feelings, was through listening to a lot of the speeches that he made at the time of Tafshin and Aleph, Tafshin and Beis, listening to the Sichas, and him being one of the chief chayzrim, the ones that after the Fabrengen they would sit and he would, through his memory, they would write down what the Rebbe is Fabrengen about. So through to his speeches to the Chassidim, listening to just he was probably the best listener at the Fabrengen, and he was able to tell you what the Rebbe said, and this is what the Rebbe wants from us. There was speeches that he did to Chassidim that was like mind blowing, and then to the Shluchim, talking about what the Shluchus is, was also like mind blowing. Like one thing that stuck with me is he said that there are people that are pushed sleeping. The Rebbe says about how miyad kishinir mishinasai. Immediately when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you should have in your mind is Mashiach.
Even before Madani, the first breath
Even
you
before
take.
Madani, correct. The first thing is Mashiach. What are you doing? What everything, your whole life, Kol Yimei Chayecha Lahavi L'Mes Mashiach is a life. And he says that there are people that Pasha don't know the Sichas of the Rebbe, and for them, they're it's not like they're just sleeping. He says Pasha they're schlaft. And he says what's the outcome that we should come from this Fabrengen is that we should spend time, Pashit, 5 minutes a day going through the Sikha. So the question a lot of people have is, famously, or not famously, but famously to the people that are shtickle against the whole thing, is that Reb Yoel came out with a publication, or a publication came out that Reb Yoel was saying Ta'isi. So famously known as the Ta'isi
Toisi.
publication.
Yoel said
Ta'isi.
Toisi.
Reb
That,
Yoel
so
said
to speak,
Ta'isi, and
that's the
therefore,
that ends. That's supposed to end the
correct,
discussion.
and the discussion, and therefore, if Reb Yoel said Ta'isi, so therefore, if Reb Yoel made a mistake, it must be that you're wrong, and yeah. So move on. So the question is like this. The question is, what's the deal with the Ta'isi? What's the deal with Reb
What's up with
Yoel?
that?
Yeah, what's up with that?
So, the thesis is written up in Kfar Chabad, and disclaimer: I'll just disassociate this from Reb Yoel because I heard that he didn't really write it, and that's the ends. And I have not extensively listened to not so much the stuff before or after, so we'll just discuss the article the way it's published in Kfar Chabad on its own merits. And we'll leave Reb Yoel out of it for the moment. The article, the first half of which is saying that you can't ignore Gimmel Tammuz, that it's important to recognize that it happened, and you do a disservice by doing what a lot of people Tzfatim do now, of just pretending like he's walking around. That's not the point. However alive the Rebbe is, whatever you want to talk about, he's buried in Queens, and it's a very sad thing. And you should be sad about it. Gimmel Tammuz is a very sad day. As I recall, that was the first half of the article. The second half was the two easy half, and Reb Yoel explained, that a normal person who learns the Rebbe's Torah will necessarily come to the conclusion that Gimmel Tammuz is impossible to happen. Using basic laws of deduction and normal learning that applies to every other realm of Torah, the way you learn. If you learn the Rebbe's Torah, you would rightly say, like he said, Gimmel Tammuz, not possible. Will not happen. Guarantee it, 100%. And it happened. So he said, every word that Rebbe says is true. Every Mugadik Asicha, every word, kosher, emes, v'yatzav, v'nachin. But I can't make heads or tails of it. The basic laws of deduction, as simple and generic as 1 + 1 = 2, don't apply. They apply to every other realm of Torah, not the Rebbe Sichas. Apparently. Normally we learn Torah, this is how you learn. You understand things. The Rebbe Sichas, obviously not understandable. Certainly, you have to tell people what it says. They don't know exactly what it says. Tell them one. Don't tell them 1 + 1 = 2. Tell them the Rebbe says, Hine Zeh Moshiach Ba. Mashiach's coming. But you can't add any words. And as it's mashma kind of in the article, also don't go at any of the other sikhs. Just talk about that one. Because that's the only one he quotes. I don't know, it's a bit awkward. That's what it says, and needless to tell you, that's absurd and ridiculous. So forgive whoever, I don't know if he said it, or if he really said it, or was rewritten, I don't know. But that's obviously absurd and should not be taken seriously, and that's not even a real opinion, and it's not even worth rebutting. It's nothing, whatever. That's a cry of pain from a chassid, is what it is, at best. Let me explain.
Please.
The Rebbe Sichas are very clearly meant to be understood. And 1 + 1, thankfully, still equals 2. And if Gimmel Tammuz wasn't possible to happen before, then obviously, like we've explained on this podcast, Gimmel Tammuz didn't happen in the conventional sense. And it's correct. The Rebbe is still alive. Like we explained, you can look at our previous episode, is the Rebbe alive? The Rebbe is alive. And the Rebbe is also buried. And he's still Mashiach. Everything works out. At least try to make it work out. Talk about it. Maybe we have the answers. Maybe we don't. But to give up, throw in the towel, and say, I'm done, none of it makes any sense, have a nice day, so we can't verbring about it, we can't koch on it, because you can't even talk about it. You just have to quote the literal words that it says. You go and say with someone, how are you? Hine Zeh Moshiach Ba. What does that mean? Can't tell you. What do you mean? What's the implication of that? Nah, it's absurd. It's not what the Rebbe is telling us. We have a whole shlichus of Kabbalah Pnei Mashiach Tzedakenu. How much about explaining to people about Mashiach's here, and we have to teach them about Mashiach, and we have to greet Mashiach. This whole thing is not possible. It wasn't like sichos about esoteric things, but practical instructions for the Rebbe of what to do. You can't put those on a shelf. That was not one of the options in this multiple choice test over here. The Rebbe gave us marching orders. He gave instructions to the shluchim. He told them that they till now had a shluchas, the Sparterich Siddish Yiddishkeit, until affecting the Gula. And now that is alone no longer the shluchas. Now the shluchas is to greet Mashiach by doing all those things, to greet Mashiach, who's already here. You can't put that on a shelf. You can't say, I don't understand it. The whole point is that the Rebbe says in the Sikha there is to understand Mashiach, Beifin and Miskabel, so that you could go greet him. You can't turn back from that. There's no way to turn back the clock. There's no we'll just do what we know. We'll just put on tefillin like regular. That's not one of the options. Your only option is figuring out pshat and what the Rebbe wants from you. There are no other options. If you are intent on doing what the Rebbe told us. I know some people, unfortunately, they say, yeah, the whole thing is whatever, it didn't work. Get on with it. This is reality. Moshe told the Yidden they're going to go take the snow. You know what? They didn't. So if somebody has that perspective, okay, I have a hard time calling such a person a chassid, but okay. But if you're going to say that Rebbe Sichos are true, like Reb Yoel is saying in this, allegedly, if we believe that the Rebbe tells us the truth, and we obviously as Chassidim we do, and that the Rebbe Sichos are Negeya, and we have to chazir them over, then we have to learn them, we have to understand them, and we have to tell you that 1 + 1 = 2, and that the Rebbe, which means in our context that the Rebbe is still Melech HaMashiach, the Rebbe is still alive, the Rebbe is still taking us out of Golos, and we still have the shlichus of Kabbalah Pnei Mashiach Tzidkeinu. That's so. This whole Reb Yoel said to easy business is doesn't start. It's not a real argument, as far as I'm concerned. And the only thing we have is the Rebbe Sichos, which people who tell you that Rebbe Sichos are not meant to be understood, I don't know what to tell you. That's such an unreasonable opinion to have as a chassid. It's honestly shocking that people say that with a straight face. The Rebbe Sichos are meant to be understood, obviously. The Rebbe spent time editing these Sichos, putting them to print, publishing them. Why do you think he did that? So we could say that they're not understandable? Nobody really thinks that. That's the real truth. People say things to make themselves feel comfortable, to explain things to themselves, that they could have some sort of explanation. But obviously, I don't think anybody really believes that. I don't think Reb Yoel believes that. Again, I don't know what he said later and all the time, so you can call me out on that. I don't know. I'm just discussing this article. That's not a realistic way of looking at the Rebbe Sichos, and I think everyone will agree.
I hear that. So you're saying this. Okay, the problem is like this. The problem is that a lot of people hang their hats on other people.
All right, here's some advice. Everyone stop hanging your hats on other people. Think about things for yourself. And if not saying you should ignore them, but those other people that you're hanging your hats on, talk to them. Don't take no for an answer. Ask them questions. Say, hey, I was listening to this amazing podcast, which you should check out, Greeting Mashiach, and these guys said something that piqued my interest, something interesting. I hadn't thought of before. What do you have to say to that? And if he then hangs his hat on somebody else, just keep it going.
Until you find that one person.
Which apparently is Reb Yoel here, yes. Yeah.
Seriously. No, it's for me, I was so surprised. I was shocked the first time I heard someone bring that up, because literally I listened. He made, it wasn't like he was making a good argument. It was like, what do you mean? This is what the Rebbe said. It's like, I think your father's favorite is to say that the Rebbe is not encouraging. What the Rebbe is clearly encouraging For
I'm not
this, I
smart
don't
enough
have such a good.
to refute
Correct.
that. Not so
I don't
smart.
have such a good head. I mean, I don't have such a good head for this. For this, ich hab nicht a sehr gute cup or something like that. Good stuff. Good stuff.
So we can use Reb
Um,
Yoel against Reb Yoel. So,
exactly. If someone brings you an argument, no. The problem is that problem is really, I think, boils down to Gimmel Tammuz. I think essentially is what the biggest issue is, and
I'm asking, Gimmel Tammuz is the biggest issue. We should get rid of it.
yeah, correct,
We should
100%.
see that up again.
Like the Rizhiner.
Yeah.
They're all messing up Gimmel Tammuz so bad. Just get rid of it. But yeah, I think that's the matziv. That's the matziv of a lot of people. And also another point that I realized that I think is a nuanced point that a lot of people miss. You know, a lot of people have big arguments about these things, but they're arguing on like details. There's the biggest point, and this is what you posted. We posted on the X, formerly known as Twitter. Mina from a shliach sent to the Rebbe. He brought
Montreal.
he brought his chassidim on a Shabbaton, and he brought the chassidim on a Shabbaton, and he said like this. He asked the Rebbe, "Shabbos taver b'atzlacha kemasim l'shnas tzaddik v'shnas niflos b'kol." That the Shabbos should be very successful, as it is fitting to the year of Shnas Tzaddik, with the Rebbe's birthday, and the year Tavshin and Beis, and he finishes off Shnatzliach lahachder b'chol anshei Shabbosin, that we should be successful in.
Oh, did you just say Shabbosin?
Yes.
Okay.
Shabbaton.
There we go.
How would you translate lahachder? More importantly,
to penetrate, to infuse,
to infuse. The hakara and the hargasha, the recognition and the feeling, shehamashiach ve'izgalus kvar poi. The Mashiach and the revelation is already here.
And this was just after Chayesara. This was 2 weeks later. This is.
V'tzarich sach hakal lekabel Mashiach tzedkeinu, and all that is necessary is to receive Mashiach tzedkeinu. Kamishakasav in his bar b'sichas hakodesh, and he's mitzayin. He references the sicha. And they should connect themselves with heart and soul to the Rebbe, and he brings Beis Chayenu, all these things. So I think this is the most important.
What does the Rebbe say?
Oh, and the Rebbe answers, the Rebbe says that it should be very, very successful, and this is what is pertinent to this time. And Asker Al-Tzion, I will mention it to the Frierdiker Rebbe. But I think this is the most important thing. These words, ha'hakara v'hargasha she'amashiach v'izgalus kvar poi. This is the most important thing, and I think I think we will have the most success, is infusing in people the recognition and the feeling that the Mashiach and his revelation is already here. Correct.
This is the most. People are stuck on this, so we have to tell people that. Yes, that's the whole point. That's what it's saying in the Sikha. That's the key.
Correct.
It's already here. It's already happening. It's
already here. Correct. I was talking to I went to the I went to both kinosim, to the Mashiachist kinnis, and there was like a roundtable discussion trying to figure out how to properly bring in Yonagol Mashiach in your Chabad house, whatever it was, and they're having a nice conversation, and I gave an idea that maybe if we teach in Yonagol Mashiach in a way that this is what's happening, this is where we are. We're at a point where we're already, Mashiach is already here. Yeah, I gave the example of learning Hilchos Shabbos, learning the laws of Shabbos. If you teach it on Sunday, it's like I'm teaching it. It's very abstract. It's not really practical. It's practical, but it's practical in a way of, okay, I don't. It doesn't matter right now. It matters in 6 days. So I'll listen. Correct, but it's not Shabbos.
It's still not the same.
Correct. However, when you teach the same Hilchos Shabbos, either right before Mincha, Erev Shabbos, Friday night right after Ma'ariv or between Mincha Ma'ariv.
Like you have in the Shul and Levitzchak.
Like you're
right?
correct. Yeah. Or even if Shabbos morning, or if you start teaching Hilchos Shabbos, it's a whole different feeling. You're teaching it as like something like practical. You can show them what to do, and you can say, by the way, this that I didn't do is because I'm not allowed to do it. It's like it's a whole different feeling. It's a whole different experience, and it's a whole different message. And I think this is something that we have to recognize. It has to be something that totally takes us over, is this recognition, recognizing that it already happened, and we're in the middle of it.
It's big. It already happened. That you have to tell people this feeling recognition. Mashiach is already revealed. And by the way, this takes away the whole question of like, do we have to tell people that the Rebbe is Mashiach? Do whatever you want. They have to know that Mashiach's already here and revealed. So,
correct. I was speaking.
Whatever.
I was in the midst of that conversation. We were having an argument if it's important to tell people that the Rebbe is Mashiach, and if the Rebbe told us a discussion. What did I say?
Argument.
I was having a
discussion.
It was actually very much closer to a discussion than an argument, but sadly, I've had too many arguments that it just, that's the only thing that goes in my head. Anyways, we were having a discussion where the Rebbe says it. Is it something that the Rebbe said that we have to tell everybody that the Rebbe is Mashiach? To be honest, I haven't looked at everything, so I don't think the Rebbe ever said it, that we have to go and tell the world that the Rebbe is Mashiach.
Thou shalt tell the world that I am the Messiah. Yeah, no.
Correct. I don't think that ever happened.
Proclaim throughout the land.
Correct. What did happen is that the Rebbe said that this is something that you have to do. You have to tell the world. You have to get the world ready to be Mekabel Pnei Mashiach Tzidkenu. Now, what that means exactly, we can have a whole episode about that, but
it's
I think
pretty
we did
clear.
already. It's pretty clear. I showed him this. I showed him this the question that the shliach asked, right, and the Rebbe's answer, and I said, let's picture ourselves in that Shabbaton and listening to the shliach talking about this. How much do you want to bet that the question of who Mashiach is came up? How much do you want to bet? Yeah. And what this shliach answered? What do you think? It's like it blows my mind. How can you have a conversation with someone saying Mashiach is here, the revelation is here, and not say who and the question won't come up? Of course, the question is going to come up. Any person that has two brain cells, that has prefrontal cortex, will be able to come up with this amazing, mind-blowing,
even without
out of the world question. Where did this? Correct, even without, right? Completely from left field. Who is Mashiach? Like, what? Obviously, if I'm telling you that Mashiach is here, your next question is going to be, okay, who is it?
He? Where can I find him?
Sorry. If I'm telling you Mashiach is here, and then I say that all we have to do left is to greet him, that leaves.
Well, that depends if you know what Mashiach is. If you think the Mashiach is an idea, you might not have any questions. If you understand, because like the Rebbe tells you in the Sikha to first explain to them the whole idea of Mashiach, you understand that he's a physical person of flesh and blood who will literally and physically take us out of Galus and build the Beis Hamikdash, in the opposite order. Then your next obvious thing is, oh, he's here? Where is he? Who is he? Yeah, there's no other way. That's the only way to understand. There is no other way to understand it. And what's so frustrating sometimes is that people will make it sound like the perspective we're sharing, not even one of the options. For sure, destroying Lubavitch. For sure, terrible. I'm coming from somewhere here. Can you give me that? Like, what I'm saying here, some validity. Like, people say, there's no place to talk about it. Totally crazy. We made it up. Like,
if you think it destroys Lubavitch, if you think telling people that the Rebbe is Mashiach destroys Lubavitch, then try do everything that the Rebbe asks you to do, and if you're able to have this conversation and to like the shliach asked, to be machder, to penetrate, it should penetrate the person, that this recognition, the feeling, the person should have a feeling. And you don't have to bring up the fact that the Rebbe is Mashiach. I will give you a stamp of approval. You're doing the right thing.
It's not possible, but
correct. No. Right. The point is, fine. Don't say that I was Mashiach. Don't do it. Fine.
But he has to know that Mashiach is here and revealed, and everything we're doing is to greet him.
Right. I want to be able to
and
go to your Chabad house.
And that Mashiach is a person, and we have to, and probably we should follow his advice and do Chitas and Ambam because he said to, and listen to his Sichas, whoever he is. And
but it's not. But you don't know who Mashiach is. You don't know.
I'm just saying, probably if you're going to greet Mashiach or receive Mashiach, and he has like 40 years worth of material, probably one of the most important ways of getting ready to greet him is following in his ways, connecting with him, like the
person asks
that they should have to the Rebbe.
Correct. Believe in Nefesh.
Yeah, there really is. It's really not possible, the whole thing, to do it without. Perhaps the job isn't to tell everyone that Rebbe is Mashiach. It's just impossible to do without the obvious basic prerequisite of them knowing at some point that the Rebbe is Mashiach. And I don't know why this is so controversial. I wrote an article that I don't know if we'll publish it or not at some point, but I started off that for the life of me, I don't know why it's so controversial. What's so about the Rebbe being Mashiach? Yes, it's good news.
It should be. It should definitely be. And yeah, I asked the person. I was having a conversation on the X, formerly known as Twitter, and I was like, I don't understand why are you so against? Like why is it mirachik? I don't understand. Okay, you're having a conversation with someone, and you tell them that Rebbe is Mashiach, and they start distancing themselves from you. Right? What that means, I guess, they start walking backwards, facing you, but like, whoa. Ask them, like, why? Why are you so appalled by that?
Why are you so put off by that?
Correct. Why?
So if it's a not Lubavitch person, the reason they're put off by it is because they also don't think that the Rebbe is the Nasi Adar. They think it's insulting that the Rebbe is anything more than a nice person from the 20th century who was holier than the rest of us and knew how to learn a lot better than the rest of us, but nothing really more than that, because they are a firm proponent in the idea that as the generations progressed, every one of the generation had a lower soul level, and it's insulting to them to even imagine that we, as Lubavitchers, think that the Rebbe was something more than that, and was one of the greatest people to have ever lived. They cannot wrap their head around it, and they think, and kind of rightly so in that sense, that we're thereby putting down all the rest of the Gedolim in this generation, and putting the Rebbe up on a pedestal above the rest of them. And this was the same time that they had that the Rebbe put the Frierdiker Rebbe, his predecessor, his father-in-law, on a pedestal, calling him the Nasi Adar, the leader of the generation, comparing him to Moshe Rabbeinu. They're insulted by the whole thing. The problem isn't Mashiach. Those people, if it's a firm person, his problem is that you think that the Rebbe is the Nasi Adar. That's his problem, that you think the Rebbe is the leader of the generation, that you think the Rebbe is the Moshe of the generation. That is what's bothering him. It's got nothing to do with the fact that the Rebbe is Mashiach. If the person accepts that the Rebbe is the Moshe of the generation, it's quite obvious that he's also the Mashiach of the generation. As the Rebbe explains, that follows very naturally. That's not the issue. So this is an entirely separate problem that has nothing to do with Mashiach, if it's a from person. Unless his problem is the Gimmel Tammuz thing, which again, there's an answer to that question. As long as he's still the Nasi Adar, he's still Mashiach. It's not.
All right.
And if he's fry, he doesn't have a problem with it.
Oh, for sure. For sure not.
He just doesn't. It's in your head. He doesn't. No, really, it's that simple. Okay.
Is it though?
If
right, the problem.
I don't know if it is, but having this perspective is a lot more helpful to actually trying to do it. A lot of this doubt, like I keep saying, is in our own heads. Get out of your own head. You have to make yourself comfortable with this idea.
Right.
And then you can go to other people and talk about it.
Right. If you have conversations with people that say that it's merachik other people, you find out in the midst of conversations that it's not actually merachik anybody. I think it's just the fact that you're uncomfortable with the fact and you don't know exactly how to explain it. Correct, how to present it, and you are not 100% machder with this hakara and the hargasha that Mashiach is and his Gal is already here, and I, by the way, let me say this. I think personally, I'm also not 100% machdir permeated with this recognition and feeling that Mashiach and his galus is already here. But what I do know is that the Rebbe did say this. This is what the Rebbe said. This is
No, but it's
something
like
that the Rebbe.
Mashiach's here, and people be like, "Why does it matter that Mashiach's already here and revealed?"
Oh,
Scratching in my head here. I can't.
uh,
Did you say that to yourself in the mirror? Mashiach is here and revealed, but who cares? Really? That's your line of reasoning here? Sorry for raising my voice here, but come on.
come on, man.
Who cares? What do you care about? When does it start to matter?
Right. So it seems for there are some people that think that it only starts to matter when the Beis Hamikdash is built, when you have kibbutz galuyos, when you have all the beautiful things are going on, and it's be like, okay, you know what? That's Mashiach.
Why would you not care about it personally, though? If you care about kibbutz
Because
galuyos, you would also care about Mashiach being revealed. There's no universe where you only care about kibbutz galuyos, but you totally don't care and think it's important at all whatsoever. No, you should be very excited about Mashiach, jumping up and down, and Nebuch, because of whatever idea you have, you're not telling everybody, but really you want to, and you're totally excited about the fact that Mashiach is here. There's no universe where you care about Geula and Mashiach, but you don't care that he's here and revealed. Like personally. I'm talking about talking to other people, just personally. If you're not excited that the Rebbe is revealed, it's because either you don't think it's true, or you just don't care about anything. Otherwise, what? The Yidden of Mitzrayim, they just didn't believe Moshe. They didn't believe him. He came and said, "Take you out of ghost." They said, "Nice try. Don't come back another day."
yeah,
Eventually, they believed him, but it took some time. And 4/5 of the Yidden didn't want to leave. It's not easy. They didn't believe Moshe Rabbeinu. He came with the good news. They did not believe him. It was too good to be true. And we have the same problem now. They made it to Maminim, like we started off today saying. People are loath to believe it. It sounds too good to be true. You're telling me this is it? What do you mean? Where's the Gula? Show it to me. It's a process. But if it is true, then it's very exciting, right? People should agree that if it's true, it's very exciting. Then you'll convince yourself that it's true. But first, you have to recognize the idea. It's a very big deal that Mashiach is here and he's revealed. That's very big. That doesn't not matter. Okay? Everyone's got to stop saying it doesn't matter. It matters. It matters a lot. It's like the thing that matters the most more than anything else ever.
yeah.
People have this idea that Geula is just about Geula. Mashiach is just, he's going to be coming along for the ride. It's not really about him.
Nope.
So there's
it's Al Yedei Mashiach.
So there's no reason to get excited about him because there's no Geula in the world yet. So tell me when the Geula comes into the world. That's just not how it works. Educate yourself. It's about Ayidei Mashiach Tzkenu. It's about Mashiach, the person. The Rebbe told us that it's Kabbalah Mashiach Tzkenu. He didn't say it's Kabbalah Yidei Geula. He spoke about bringing the Aleph of Geula. He spoke about Machta. He spoke about that too. But Kabbalah Mashiach Tzkenu has to do with Mashiach. It just does. It do be like that. That's where it's at.
So, it's been a while, and we're back.
It's a long one to catch up for the week.
Yeah. But yes, please share again. Keep having these conversations even when we're not here. And also, I think now that we're on X, formerly known as Twitter, I think it'll be a nice place for there's a community on there for the Gimmel Mashiach podcast. Yes, this will be posted on the Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. Yeah, please join us on X, join us formerly known as Twitter, join us on YouTube, share,
also,
like, share, subscribe.
X, don't make an X account for this, but if you're on X.
Yeah. The point is that we need people to be talking about it. We need to make the world recognize that it's here, that it's happening, and we just need to accept him. We need to receive him. We need to make him feel wanted. We need to make him king. We need to make him king and give him the power to take us out of Golus, because that's what Mashiach needs. Mashiach has the shlich. You have to understand something. He's ready to take us out. He just needs us to give him, stretch out like this. Stretch out your hand and he'll grab you. Something like that. It's this is what we need to do. And may it happen very soon. And Tisha B'Av should be, what is it? It should be, it should be transformed to a day of joy.
Like I mentioned before, it's Mashiach's the day of Mashiach's birthday, Mazali of Mashiach, the Mazel of Mashiach shines.
And should, it should be. Chaim Nevracha.
We want Mashiach now.
ועד כדי כך המדב גולהוב מהדר עם זול מחי זין יחי המלך